to give you 1-minute introduction into the business model canvas in the original style, how Alexander Oosterwalder presented it, to then move into explaining how the Sustainable Start business model canvas connects to it and changes a few things. The business model canvas has value proposition in the middle. So that's what you give as value to your customer, usually a product or service here in the middle. On the right-hand side, it shows you customer segments that you want to reach, that you want to sell your product to, and the key relationships in order to bridge towards your customer segments, and the channels, both promotion as well as actual deliverable channels, etc., in order to reach them. Which on the right-hand side shows revenue streams being generated by offering your value to your customer segments. On the left-hand side, we've got key activities that you need to perform in order to create your product or service, and the key resources that we need in order to do our activities. On the left-hand side, you find key partners that will help you either in parts of your activities, either as providers of your resources, and all of that together creates your cost structure. Now, this is a basic business model canvas as it's being used according to the website of Strategizer by over 5 million people in the world in order to design and develop existing and new business models, in order to innovate their business models and to look at your business basically from different angles. What we decided to do was to, first of all, split up the value proposition into a triple value proposition, saying that the value that you create as a company or as any organization basically is not just to your customer segment. It's not just to the audience that you directly want to serve. It is, and we call it your human value proposition, but you also have a social value proposition as well as an ecological value proposition. No matter whether you consciously choose to have a positive social or environmental impact, in the case that you don't consciously choose to, then most probably you have a negative impact, which is then considered a negative value, right? So considering the triple bottom line kind of aspect and applying that to the triple value proposition, you might want to make progress on minimum 2 of those, with the third one remaining at least unaffected and therefore not being negative value creation. The fourth block that we add is strategic direction, because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what your vision of success is, if you don't know what the big goals are that you want to reach with your business, then you don't know what you're designing for. So that's the next. To complement the human side, we said that in between your customer segments and your human value proposition, there's human needs that you need to satisfy. So that's an extra block that we added, and we called the customer segments target audience instead, because it's not always customers that you design for. Sometimes it's users, sometimes it's beneficiaries, sometimes it's whole systems that might be benefiting from your solution. On the social level, we then put relationships on the right-hand side of the social value proposition, connecting to channels all the way on the right in order to reach your target audience with the relationships that you want to establish with them and maintain with them, in order to also have make your social impact and your social value proposition not just through a product or service that you might be offering, but especially through the interactions, the relationships that you have both towards the right-hand side with your target audience, as well as towards the left-hand side, towards partners and other stakeholders that are part of the social systems that you are part of. Connecting to the ecological value proposition on the left, we place the activities as well as resources, both leading into often large environmental impacts, and therefore needed to really have a look at how can you decrease the dependency of your activities on all sorts of levels. How can you decrease the dependency on oil, on mined minerals, on all sorts of things that you know are bad for the environment, but it's all throughout your value chain in the life cycle of your product if you start looking at that. At the bottom, we basically, sorry, one step back. Obviously, there's also the activities and the resources of your partners, which on sort of a second tier sustainability, you will want to include as well in your analysis, because starting off, you're obviously responsible for your own business, but no business can ever be sustainable in isolation. We're all part of a value chain. We're all part of life cycles that connect many different companies and therefore many different business models with each other. Therefore, taking responsibility over the final value that you deliver to humans, to society, and to the environment includes also taking responsibility for the activities and resources that you depend on delivered and supplied by your partners. To conclude, obviously, we have costs and revenues at the bottom, which from a sustainability point of view, we can also connect to different kinds of capitals besides just the financial capital that you might be requiring and generate.